5:58 a.m. No alarm. You wake up anyway. Your body doesn't know the difference yet. You lie there. The ceiling is the same ceiling. The room is the same room. Nothing rings, nothing buzzes. You wait for the feeling. The one you pictured for 13 years? It doesn't come. You get up. You make coffee in the same mug you've used since you were 24. The handle a little loose now. You stand at the window and watch the street wake up without you in it. A bus stops. Nobody gets off. Somewhere out there, your old badge still works. You know because you tested it Friday. Out of habit, not need. The door still opened. Nobody would have stopped you. You're 35. You retired 4 days ago. Nobody clapped. Rewind. You're 22. First real job. Cubicle, badge, a chair that squeaks when you lean back. $19 an hour, which sounds like a lot until rent, until the car payment, until the version of yourself that used to think $19 an hour was the finish line. Your coworker Dallas sits 2 rows over. Same start date, same orientation packet, same laminated badge photo where you both look terrified. By week 3, Dallas already has a nickname for the boss. By week 3, you still don't know where the good stapler is kept. Dallas leases a Charger in his 3rd month. Black, loud, the kind of car that turns heads in a parking lot that doesn't deserve one. You drive a Civic with a dent nobody fixed. You don't say anything about the Charger. Dallas doesn't ask about the dent. Payday. You open your account before you open anything else. You move $340 into something with a name you don't say out loud. Not because it's a secret, because saying it makes it sound smaller than it is. Rent, groceries. The rest sits there quiet. Nobody at the office knows you do this. Dallas thinks you're broke because you bring lunch in a plastic container that used to hold something else. Age 23. $340 becomes $360. You barely notice the difference. It's the kind of change that only shows up on paper, never in the mirror. You still wear the same 2 pairs of jeans in rotation. Dallas notices. Dallas doesn't say it out loud, but you catch him glance at your shoes once in the elevator. The kind of glance that isn't cruel, just accounting. Age 25. $360 becomes automatic. You don't think about it anymore. It just leaves before you can miss it. You get a small raise. Most people upgrade something. You don't. The Civic stays. The container stays. Dallas gets a second car for his girlfriend. He shows you photos in the break room, leaning against the hood like he built it himself. You nod. You mean it. You're happy for him. You're also doing math he isn't doing. Age 27. You get invited less. Not on purpose, nobody does it on purpose. It's just that the group trip to Cabo costs $1,900 and you're the guy who always has a reason. Dallas goes. Dallas posts from the pool, a drink with a little umbrella, a caption about living your one life. You like the photo. You mean that too. That night you check the number. It's not impressive. It's just there, sitting quietly, doing the one thing it knows how to do. You don't tell anyone the number. There's nobody to tell it to who wouldn't ask why you didn't just go to Cabo. Age 29. Dallas makes senior analyst. Bigger title, corner desk. A plaque with his name spelled correctly this time. He gets a nicer apartment across the river, floor-to-ceiling windows he shows you on a video call, turning his phone slowly like a realtor. You're still in the same 1-bedroom you signed at 24. You tell people it's because you like the location. That's not a lie. It's not the whole truth either. That night you do the math you don't usually let yourself do. Not this month's math, all of it. Where the line goes if nothing changes. Where it goes if you keep doing exactly what you've been doing since $340 first left your account and you didn't miss it. The number at the end isn't a fantasy, it's just early. You fold the paper you wrote it on. You put it in the same drawer where the container lid goes missing twice a year. You tell no one. That's rule 1. It was always rule 1. Age 30. Your mother asks gently at Sunday dinner if you're doing okay. Not because anything's wrong, Because Dallas's mother told your mother about the new apartment, and mothers compare without meaning to. You say you're doing fine. You are doing fine. You just can't prove it the way Dallas can prove it, with a view and a doorman, and a lease that costs more than your first year's rent combined. Your mother doesn't push. She just watches you a little longer than usual. The way mothers do when they suspect there's math happening they're not being shown. Age 31. The recurring image. Every year on your birthday, you buy yourself the same thing. A $6 coffee from the place near the office, the good kind, the kind you never let yourself buy on a regular Tuesday. You sit outside with it for 10 minutes before work. That's the whole tradition. Nobody knows about it. Dallas would laugh if you told him that's what you do to celebrate. This year, you sit there and you do the number in your head without the paper. It's bigger than the paper. You almost don't believe it. You finish the coffee, you go to work. Age 32. The year it gets hard, not financially, socially. Dallas gets engaged, big ring, bigger party, a rooftop with a view he pays for himself and mentions twice. Someone at the party asks what you're up to these days. Still at the same company. Same desk, no ring, no rooftop. You say things are good. They nod the way people nod when an answer disappoints them. The conversation moves on a beat too fast. You drive home. You do something you haven't done in years. You open your account and you sit with the number until it stops looking like proof and starts looking like doubt. Maybe Dallas is right. Maybe the rooftop is the point and you missed it. You don't touch the number. You just sit with the doubt until it gets tired and leaves on its own. It always does. That was rule 2, though nobody ever taught it to you. The doubt doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you're still awake enough to ask. Age 33. Layoffs. Half the floor gone in an afternoon. Boxes in the elevator by 3. Dallas keeps his job. You keep yours. But you watch him that week, really watch him for the first time in a decade. The rooftop, the ring, the charger long since traded for something bigger. All of it financed, all of it one bad quarter from folding. You overhear him on a call in the stairwell, voice low, asking someone about refinancing. He's not winning. He's performing winning. The performance has a monthly payment. You never say this to him. You don't need to. The number in your drawer isn't a performance. It doesn't need an audience. It just needs time. And time is the one thing you never stopped giving it. Age 34. The number crosses a line you circled on paper 10 years ago and forgot you circled. You don't feel anything the day it happens. You check it twice to be sure. Then you close the laptop and make dinner like it's a Tuesday because it is a Tuesday. You don't tell your mother. You don't tell Dallas. You tell the drawer, which already knew. 35. The Tuesday from the beginning. No alarm. You get up anyway. You make coffee in the mug with the loose handle. You stand at the window. Your badge still works because you haven't turned it in yet, not because you need it to. You go outside and walk to the place near the office, the one with the $6 coffee. You buy it on a Tuesday for the first time in your life. Nobody tells you congratulations. Nobody at the counter knows what today is. That was always the plan, even when you didn't know it was a plan. You sit outside for longer than 10 minutes this time. Nothing rings, nothing buzzes. Dallas texts the group chat about a new watch. You don't reply right away. You watch a stranger rush past with a laptop bag digging into his shoulder, badge swinging, coffee in a paper cup he's not going to finish. You recognize him. You used to be him, not the man, the posture. You think about the drawer, the folded paper, the container with the missing lid. The $340 that became $360. That left before you could miss it for 13 years, without a single person watching. Nobody clapped when it started. Nobody clapped when it ended. That was never a flaw in the plan. That was the plan working exactly the way it was built to. Dallas calls that afternoon, not to brag this time, just to talk. His voice sounds different, quieter than the group chat version of him. He asks what you've been up to. You tell him the truth. He goes quiet on the other end. The kind of quiet that isn't searching for the right thing to say. It's recalculating everything it thought it already knew. How? He finally asks. You tell him there wasn't a how. There was just a Tuesday, 13 years ago, when $340 left your account and you decided not to miss it. He asks if it was hard. You tell him the hard part was never the money. The hard part was Cabo and the rooftop and the elevator glance at your shoes and staying quiet through all of it while everyone assumed you were the one falling behind. He doesn't say anything for a while. Then he says he has to go. You don't hear from him again that week. You're not offended. You remember what it feels like to sit with that kind of math for the first time. It takes a while before it stops feeling like an accusation and starts feeling like a door. You finish the coffee, you walk home the long way, past the office you don't work at anymore, past the elevator that once carried boxes down in an afternoon, past the rooftop Dallas is probably still financing. A woman walks past you in a blazer, badge clipped to her hip, checking the time like it owes her something. Nobody on that street knows what today is. Nobody claps. You never needed them to. Somewhere right now, someone is 22, opening their first real paycheck, wondering if $340 a month will ever add up to anything anyone notices. It won't. Not for years. Maybe not ever, not out loud. But somewhere down the line, on an ordinary Tuesday nobody else will remember, they might buy a $6 coffee and sit outside for longer than 10 minutes and finally understand that the whole point was never to be seen doing it. The whole point was to be free the day nobody was watching at all.